and good evening. Welcome to the Deltahead stream. I am James Howell, and yeah, we're going to do part 2 of Cyber Shadow tonight. A game that I still really dig, and I'm actually really glad that we're doing this stream, because this will probably be the last time I revisit in a little while, because of no problem with Cyber Shadow, but because Elden Ring has hit, and it's kind of mind-blowing for me as it is for many other people, so that's kind of vacuuming up a lot of my gaming attention. So hi Ark, it's great to see you. How are you? Let's see here. Get this channel up. There we go. Very good. Nope, let's turn that volume down so it's not blowing my ears out. Excellent. Very awake. Good. Good. I am too, as a matter of fact. So we have that in common. But yeah. I wonder if we're going to finish Cyber Shadow tonight. It's not a very long game. I do talk a little chattier during it than somebody playing it straight through might be, so that kind of puts some brakes on that. But we'll see. We'll see if we wrap that up. But yeah, for the pre-game to show tonight, I've got some neat stuff. First off, just in terms of general media upkeep, I am just... You see that? There we go. I am just around the halfway point of Harriet's All Creatures Great and Small. Continues to be a lovely read, very charming, and from my experience, what little there is comparatively as in veterinarian work, it's very relatable. So it's really good stuff to read. Other stuff that I've been doing. So as I mentioned at the previous stream, I've been playing my banjo quite a bit more, and my unintended, but as it's happening, goal is to turn it into a Baroque instrument, or a Renaissance instrument, basically something kind of like a, I don't know, Appalachian lute. That's the way it's turning out. One of the books of sheet music I got for Christmas is the Il Primo Libro by Andrea Falconieri, which, is that right there? Oh, hey, cool, you can see the reflection of everything, because it's a very glossy cover. And this has some very lovely, yes, the Bach Joe. You know what? I'm going to steal that. Evening Iceman Dan. Thank you. There is, yeah, so I've mostly got, I have the notes down for Fugue in G minor, coming up with an arrangement that makes sense as a single instrument piece, as opposed to several different voices, you know, working at the same time. That's going to be a longer term challenge, maybe years. But in the meanwhile, I'm taking on this Brando de Abril, I believe. This is the extent of it. This is the size of it, which makes it a very nice, bite-sized thing to learn. And it's basically two stringed voices, kind of going side by side. Falconieri was an Italian Renaissance, I think late Renaissance, early modern composer, and it's really beautiful. So this is the way I kind of work on that, is I will write out, let's see, where's the current thing? Yeah, so I'll write out the sheet music, copy down both voices where they overlap and where they diverge, and then tab it out. And once I tab it out, it's really just sort of a mental exercise to sort of get a sense of where on the fretboard it is, because after that I can coordinate the physical location of the notes with OpenG tuning with the sheet music, and I feel like that makes the sheet music comprehension better, which is ideally what I'm going for, to be able to kind of cut out that middle process of tabulating it out. But yeah, Brando de Abril, Brando space D apostrophe Abril. It is a lovely 1 minute long piece. It's got a lot of oomph there, and very sprightly. Sprightly, I think that's how I would describe it. There's a very good string quartet performance of it if you do a search on Spotify. And I would play it for you now, but of course we all know DMC, that's music. DMR? DMC, digital rights man. Anyway, the thing that gets you canned. You know what I mean. Yeah, so the other thing is, and this is definitely not governed by any kind of digital rights management. So I was digging through a lot of the stuff that I was unearthing while I was moving, and I found this. I found this book right here. This is a big red notebook where I kept a lot of old English translations of mine of of Old English medicinal charms, and there's a collection. YMCA, DMCA. Thank you both of you. I think I'm actually going to use YMCA as a. I don't know. There seems like there's potential there for like a deliberate, malapropism, and that seems like you could have fun with that. But yeah, so there's a collection of Old English medicinal charms. These are basically a combination between a healing, basically healing spells, right? Because there was not sort of like a hard magical science. This was even before I think a lot of Galen's work. From is it Galen? I think that's the name of the Roman physician whose work basically dominated everything with like the humor system. But anyway, the specifics escape me. Anyway, this is like pagan pre all that, and so this one that we're going to look at today is against a dwarf. There we go. These are my notes. This is my typing it up, and a little picture there of what that looks like. And I haven't read this in a while, so it's going to be kind of a little boot stompy in terms of rhythm, but I actually think that maybe works a little well with Old English too, doesn't it? Let's see. With dwerg. Dwerg on weg to donne. Chitis hundes thost geknuktadne. Todusta an jamenjed with melue and to kikle abaken. Sule etan tham untruman min. There tide hus to commes. Swa an dia, swa an nichte, swather hut si. His tulgan bitherla strang. And after tham he lutlath, and on way yewitath. So that's fun. I like it, and I know I'm kind of borking some of the long and short vowels, but practice. So just this could be translated as undoing dwarves. With is Old English word meaning against. So like modern English descendant of this, like to withstand is to stand against, and the with in withstand kind of comes from this. And I think that modern German has mid as the similar thing. So I believe mid and with there's a relationship there. But to do away with a dwarf, and for context on this, dwarves in the period where this was written, we think of them as subterranean rock affiliated creatures, and that's not kind of what they used to be. They used to be air spirits, as many supernatural beings were. Evening, Dustin. It's good to see you. Glad we could pull you away from Elden Ring for a little bit and look at some of the literature that inspired, or at least was a source very long ago for much of the fantasy that kind of funnels into it. But yeah, to do away with a dwarf, the air spirit, and oftentimes dwarves and invisible witches were attributed as the sources of seizures, and I believe that that's what this particular dwarf is responsible for. Based on one line in here, which we'll get to. Anyway, I'll read it to you. That's context. To do away with a dwarf, knock a white hound's dung into dust, mix it with meal, and bake it into little cakes. Give the sick man this to eat before the dwarf's time of arrival, whether by day or night, whichever it may be. Let's see. His going out will stem strong. Ah, that's a weird translation. What do I see? His going out will be strong, and thereafter he becomes little and whites on his way. Oh, did I lose you there? Stream is disconnected, attempting a reconnect. All right, there we go. Yeah, sorry about that. Lost a connection there for a second, and good. Yeah, we're back. Anyway, so to read that through one more time. To do away with a dwarf, knock a white hound's dung into dust, mix it with meal, and bake it into little cakes. Give the sick man this to eat before the dwarf's time of arrival, whether by day or night, whichever it may be. His going out will be strong, and therefore he becomes little and withers on his way. And so basically, you take dog poop. Mix it with meal, make it into a cake, and before the seizure or whatever it is sets on, feed it to the person, and then the affliction will be briefly very strong, and then it will be done with. And that's kind of horrifying. And that's pre-science medicine. So, with that in mind, we're ready to go to the game about ninjas made on computers, which is a much more modern thing.